So far we've had webcomics about working in game shops, coffee shops, porn stores, drugstores, and God knows what else stores there are. So when you make a webcomic that takes place in a movie cinema, that's through the roof in creativity. Okay, it isn't, but this is Multiplex 10. Multiplex is a humor webcomic written and drawn by Gordon McAlpin, which first debuted on July 10th, 2005. The comic focuses on the lives of the staff of Multiplex 10 cinemas and the movies that plays there. The comic is about the employees, the movies, and of course how the employees treat the customers. And my oh my, wouldn't you know it, they're being dicks to the customers for no other reasons than they are not agreeing with certain movies. Classy.
Excuse me, will my PS2 play Xbox games? Excuse me, I need to know if Halo will play on my PS2?
I'm sorry, I don't speak stupid, and our translator called out sick today.
Wait, what are you—
Surely they must have video game stores in the great land of Stupidia, where you'd be able to purchase and be ignorant of all manner of games in accordance with your society's customs.
The comic takes place in a multiplex cinema and pretty much just evolves around that. Once in a while there's a few continued stories, but most of the time it's simply single strips with no continuation, and that doesn't hold any meaning to the story. So you'd probably think that the comic was then a collection of great setup and punchline jokes. Well, I suppose if you wanna call the entire fucking collection of the Lord of the Rings books a setup. Look at all this text. No one wanna sit through all that for a crappy joke. Imagine if I did an entire episode without a single funny joke, and then at the end I put a hat out of a bunny. No, that wasn't a mistake. Also, the jokes are just bad. Admit it, some of them can make you snigger and chuckle once in a while, but for the most part they're boring. They're all either, you suck because you like this movie, or this movie sucks because of this and that. However, I want to give the comic credit for its sheer balls sometimes. They are really not afraid of doing any race jokes. Also, the way they do it is great because they never go, fuck the white, or something like that, but mostly just simple jokes that you can make because there's simple races in play. It's ballsy, but that doesn't mean it's funny. Not funny at all. And of course, to make sure it looks as much as any other webcomic out there that is centered around the workplace, we have to have a love interest. You know what? You may think this is just me bitching and moaning again, but in case you didn't know it, there's actually a genre called workplace comic. And this comic falls it down to the very letter. Let me compare it to something. Twilight is a typical Harlequin romance book where a woman has to choose between two shady men. That's Harlequin romance. However, Twilight is spiced up by, well, the two shady dudes are a vampire and a werewolf. Multiplex doesn't even spice itself up with anything out of the ordinary. So yeah, this comic is less creative than fucking Twilight.
Oh man, that is a burn. Dude, you just got burned. Burn, dude. Burn. Oh, shut up. Your armor's pink.
Pull me out strong.
The comic follows quite a variety of characters, which is nice because it allows more variation. However, the way the characters are introduced seems a little sloppy. It's more or less, here's this guy, he'll be working here, and then the person is introduced. Besides those people, we have about 8 main characters, the closest to a protagonist being Jason Atwood. And because it's more or less law for uncreative comics, he has a stupid friend called Kurt Bollinger. And to make the uncreativity complete, there's Franklin Onassis, who is the guy going, you guys are silly. Why don't we start a new thing here at the Webcomic Belief? Let's count every time this matchup happens. So yeah, we can already add 3. 1 for 8-Bit Theater, 1 for Yahtzee Takes Over the World, and now 1 for Multiplex. I was about to say it before, but of course the main character of the comic gets a love interest. And wouldn't you know it, a jealous third party. I am clever writer. Triangle drama has never been seen before. admit it, many of the characters aren't completely one-dimensional, but then there's the people who are. Franklin, for example, only function throughout the entire comic, when he's not pointing out how stupid the others are, is to burst out, "Aw, hell nah."
Oh, hell nah. What's up, dog?
Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer. Stop all the downloading.
Or what about Sunshine Lane, who's as dumb as a brick wall? Come on, we've seen all this before. It's not new! I still call bullshit on it. I only have one thing to say about the art. Okay, look at this. This is one of my drawings with only the colors. Can you tell what the fuck this is supposed to be? Here's the same thing with lines. Any better? And just to show off, here's the same picture with shadows. Now look at this art. Can you see why I pointed your attention to the lines? When you got no outline and only use colors, a lot of times it'll be hard to distinguish two things with the same colors. During my research, I found out that Gordon McAlpin was going for a style similar to South Park. First question, why? Second question, how did you manage to miss it this much? And third question, why? It's fucking South Park! Where the art scores points, however, is that the backgrounds are, well, pretty damn awesome. A lot of things happens in the backgrounds with both posters, customers and movies. Many times the comic has a movie running in the background, and that movie also changes along with the characters, which really shows that Gordon McAlpin has wanted to make this comic. The question is, however, if you can actually see what's going on from all the text bubbles. I mean, it's a wonder there's even room for the characters on these pages.
Got a bad feeling about this.
The walls are closing in. The walls are closing in.
I thought we were safe.
Well, think again, because the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. The walls are closing in. One thing's for sure, we're gonna be real thin when the walls stop closing in.
Also, credit where it's due. The comic dares give various characters both new clothes and new haircuts, which gives the characters depth and kind of forces the writer to make them differ from one another with various traits other than the most obvious ones. Again, the comic is ballsy. Sucky and ballsy. Welcome to the very first mediocre as hell webcomic of Webcomic Relief. Multiplex is as much ups as it's downs, it's as boring as it's funny, and it's as creative as it's like anything else. The premise is a 6. It's nice to see a webcomic about movies for once and not video games, but Jesus Christ, even Ctrl-Alt-Delete didn't even have this big walls of text. The jokes are all either hit or miss. They're either boring and predictable or creative and funny. The characters is a 5. Again, they're not great but aren't bad either. However, just because they aren't bad doesn't mean they're not boring. Sometimes I even had trouble distinguishing the characters. Not because of their looks, but because all characters were so alike. The art is a 7. The art is actually enjoyable, and with the backgrounds it doesn't look all too bad. However, I still don't get why you'd want your art to look like South Park. I mean, I like the series, but the art is horrible. And get some lines, damn it. All in all, the comic is a 6. There are far better comics out there, but if you're a movie enthusiast, you should give it a read. However, I will suggest you have not read a single webcomic before this one though. So yeah, that's Multiplex. Take it from me, you want some better movie reviews with jokes, go to thatguywiththeglasses.com instead. Who knows, maybe you'll see me there someday. That's it for this episode of the Webcomic Relief. I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Why don't we start something new here at the Webcomic Relief, where we count how many times this matchup happens. We can already add 3. 1 for 8-Bit Theater, 1 for Yahtzee Takes Over the World, and now 1 for Multiplex. That was 4 fingers.